All right, just because we already shot him a lot, I'm just curious to see how much this will do. Boom, boom. That definitely killed. What was that? 89 million double hit. All of you guys really love the free aim build video and you wanted a full dedicated video going in depth on it and why it works and all the best Pictos for it. So let's go ahead and do that. We're using Verso's Contorso weapon because it is one of his best weapons in the game and possibly his best free aim weapon. For the double hits, first shot's gonna break him, put us into S rank immediately, break him, stun him, and also max out our crit because that's a special thing with the weapon. And if he survives all the way down to 2 AP, just to maximize the damage, I kind of just want to showcase, let's see how much this will do. This should probably do like 79 million if we got the good roll there. 19 million only, so not the best roll on roulette there, but that's okay because chances are the first time it doesn't hit, usually we can get the good one going. So let's try again. Second phase Simon. Let's do the same magic. Bring him down to 2 AP, and he's marked, so we should have a better chance with this follow-up. Hitting over 79 million right there. This guy has a pixel left. Okay, Simon, one shot did him in. That was kind of nuts. 93 million total damage just off of free aims and 79 million on the highest damage, but I'm not convinced that that is the highest we can go. I feel like we can get into the 90 with that, but 23-second fight. You can't go wrong with that second phase, Simon. This build is stupid. You guys are loving the guides and story breakdown, so hit that subscribe button and notification bell to raise that 38% even higher. You don't want to miss what we got coming next. And also feel free to follow our TikTok down below. We're almost monetized on our TikTok page. We've been posting the same videos over there. We'd really appreciate you guys' help on that front. So why does this build work the way that it does? We have the Contorso weapon for Verso, which is one of his best weapons and possibly the best weapon for him. I think it slightly edges out Simoso, which is ironically the weapon you get from beating Simon, which is still a great one. But switch to S rank on break. Base attack can also break. So since we're using sniper Picto with this and shooting, we're breaking enemies immediately thanks to the other Pictos that we'll talk about just now. It's immediately putting us into S rank, breaking enemies. And then if you look at the level 10 effect, 100% crit chance on rank S, which means you don't really have to run or focus too much on your crit for other Pictos. You could actually focus on defense and health or speed if you really want to. And level 20, the best effect for his weapons, triggers a lightning strike on critical hits, which acts as a double cut. So every time he hits an enemy, since we're at 100% crit rate, it will double the attacks. So this weapon is pretty damn good. I slept on it pretty heavily on the beginning of the game, but these are the main Pictos we're running. We're running Cheater slotted into him, so this way he can save about 40 AP because it costs a lot to use this as a Lumina. We got Weakness Gain for the 38% crit rate and Sweet Kill for the 38% crit rate, which doesn't really matter what their effects are. We're just looking to maximize our crits. We don't want to use, I've been seeing a lot of comments asking this, we don't want to use the 1 because it does reduce your max health to 1, but you can't take advantage of low health Pictos with this because 1 out of 1 HP is 100% HP. Guys, I need you to do some math there, please. Yes, it's 108% crit rate, but this is not going to let the other low health things activate for Verso. I'll show you guys his attributes. Every weapon's going to be different, but depending on the letters next to the stats, you want to max those out. That's how the game essentially is going to let you do max damage. So 99 might, agility, and defense for Contorso. And then if you change your weapon, you just recoat and switch it over to different specs that match that. Talk about his Lumina. We'll go through it real quick. At death's door, 50% more damage if health is below 10%. We're getting him down to 1 HP, which is well below 10%. So he's taking advantage of this. Straight up. Augmented aim, 50% increase free aim damage. We'll be shooting to kill. And this helps out greatly with that. Augmented first strike, first hit is going to deal 50% increased damage on once per battle, so this is just for the first initial hit. So this is great, but roulette can kind of mess this up, but it's not that big of a deal because of how many hits we're going to be landing. We got auto death to kill him essentially, but you notice he's not dying, and the reason why he's not dying is because we also have survivor Picto on him, which we'll get to, which keeps him at 1 HP. We got breaking death, so that if Verso dies in a fight, he has second chance. It'll bring him back, but it'll also break the enemies. And I've seen a lot of comments of you guys saying, hey, this is not technically a solo build. Yes, I get what you mean, but you can still mimic the same build, even if you wanted to do solo Verso, by just removing teammates and then having him be the one that dies and then gets revived, and you remove Survivor in order to break the enemies. But of course, you can't take advantage of low health with that. Burn Affinity, 25% increased damage on burning targets. He's going to be burned to a crisp the entire time, so just more damage on him is what we're going for. Burning Death, so that if Verso does die, he does apply 3 burn to all enemies on death. But again, if you don't plan to die, you could remove Breaking Death and Burning Death and just take that 10 extra Lumina and slot it in whatever else it is you want. We got Burning Shots, 20% chance to burn on a free aim shot. We'll be shooting a lot, so that's good. And a lot of you also been asking, how come our gradients, our gradient bars are being charged up so much? It's because we're using a lot of these charging Pictos. So I'll go through them real quick. Charging Burn, 20% increase of a gradient charge whenever you apply a burn once per turn. We're getting that off of that. We're also getting it off of this. Charging Critical, 20% of a gradient charge on a critical hit once per turn. Since the Contorso is hitting twice, it's critting twice, we're getting a lot of charge on gradients for this, so we can use Angel Eyes to secure the kill if we ever need to. And then Charging Mark, 20% of a gradient charge on hitting a marked target. We're going to be marking enemies a lot with this build, so that also will boost it too. And then we got Charging Stun, 5% of a gradient charge on hitting a stunned enemy. This is the main thing right here. We're getting a 5% charge every time we hit a stunned enemy. We're stunning them on the very first turn, so every shot after that is going to raise the bar. And you'll notice the other ones, it says once per turn, once per turn, once per turn. This is not once per turn, this is continuous. So your free aims will continuously raise it as long as the enemy is stunned, which they are, and broken. So this way we'll keep charging it up. We got Cheater equipped just so we can go twice in a row. Confident Fighter, 30% increased damage, but he can't heal. High risk, high reward, but smashing enemies, man. And we got Dead Energy 1 and 2, really important for mostly when you're running through the game and fighting multiple enemies. It doesn't really matter against Simon or single target enemies, really. Yeah, that's kind of self-explanatory because they're not going to be dying quick enough to give you AP. We got Double Burn. Applying a burn stack applies a second one. This is just maximizing damage overall. And also, I've seen some things on Reddit where people were saying some Pictos actually have a weird passive 5% increase in overall damage effect. Some of that stuff was, I believe, Double Burn and First Strike, which isn't a damage-related one. So I haven't really done my full research on that, but other people were talking about it, so I found that interesting. I still have this on just so every time we apply a burn to them, it's adding another stack. Double Mark, extremely important. This is how you get the blue marks on enemies and makes it so that marks can last longer. And also helps when you combo with marking shots, which we're using also down below, which will keep giving us more AP. We got Empowering Last Stand. If he's solo, he will gain Powerful, so that's more damage, 25% increased damage, I believe. Energizing Break, he gets 3 AP on breaking a target, which is great for the start. It's kind of overkill. It's more so something that you'll use later on if the fights go on longer. Energizing Burn. Anytime you burn an enemy, you're gaining back AP. That's awesome. Once per turn, of course. Energizing Shots. This one here isn't once per turn. This is continuous. So you got a 20% chance to get 1 AP on a free aim shot. We're shooting to kill. We're going to constantly be getting back AP this way. I've seen a lot of questions, a lot of comments asking about that. Energizing Start 1 and 2 are the only energizing starts you really need on your team, especially if you're running stuff like Energy Master and Energizing Turn. These three, you're starting off with 3 AP, and then Energy Master doubles every AP that you've gained, so that's 6 AP. Every character starts off with, I think, 3 or 4 AP to begin every match, so you're starting off with 9 with this combination. You don't need the other ones because you're just going to be basically wasting Lumina, so keep that in mind. You don't really need Energizing Start. 3 and 4, it's just kind of like whatever. So let me lower the list so you can see behind my big ass head. Exposing Break, apply defenses on break. So this is a debuff that you put on enemies so that they take more damage from you or breaking them from the beginning. First offensive, first hit dealt and taken deals 50% more damage. Self-explanatory there. First Strike, important, but you don't have to run this if you want enemies to go first, that is. Fueling Break, breaking a target doubles its burn amount, which is cool because I think since Sciel and Lune die in the beginning, Verso will basically double the burn that's already on Simon from there. Full Strength, in case if we do die and then we do revive with second chance, Verso will come back with full HP. So you'll be able to take advantage of 25% increased damage on full health on the following turn if you do die and come back. It's just like a just in case situation. You have glass cannon to deal more damage and take more damage. Gradient break here. As soon as you break the enemy, you get a 50% gradient charge. It's really, really good. You definitely want to run that. You got Gradient Fighter, so this way it boosts the damage of Angel Eyes or any other gradient attack that we use. And we got Greater Defenseless and Greater Powerful. These are important. It gives you basically 15% increase to your damage if an enemy has Defenseless on them, which already increases your damage by 25%. So another 15%, I think is 40 overall. Same goes for Greater Powerful. So great Pictos to have. These are like some really low-key ones that a lot of people are missing. Once you get this, it really does open up the game a whole lot more in damage aspects. You got Immaculate to do more damage until you get hit, of course. Immediate Res, you get 3 shields to start the battle, but your health is halved. We got Inverted Affinity. So this way, we're dealing more damage on the first couple turns, and that's 50% increased damage while you're inverted. Marking Break. So as soon as you break an enemy, you're marking them, which we're doing in the beginning of the battle. We got Marking Shots, 20% chance to apply mark on free aim shot. A lot of this stuff is overkill, by the way. I'm pretty sure you could drop some of this because you might not need it, but that's if you're struggling for Lumina. At this point, we're about a month into the game. Not a whole lot of people aren't really struggling for Lumina at this point. Painted Power, of course, to deal more damage. And let's go scroll down so you can see the full list. Piercing Shot. This can actually mess you up a lot of times in the game. You increase 25% free aim damage, but your free aim shots will ignore shields. So if you're trying to break enemy shields for your other teammates with your free aim shots, if you have this equipped, it won't break it. You'll have to do like a regular hit, use a skill, or a base attack. Just keep that in mind. It can mess you up, especially against Simon. If Simon does manage to steal your shields, if he stays alive for one more turn, your free aims will deal damage to him, but you won't be able to break his shields that way. You have to use the skill. Powerful Shield's very important. It's 10% increased damage per shield point on self. You saw with this setup that we have, Verso is starting off with 9 shields. That's 90% extra damage, guys. It's pretty fucking good. Rewarding Mark. We got 2+ AP on dealing damage to a marked target once per turn. Valuable. Roulette. We all love it. We all hate it sometimes when it doesn't work, but that 200% damage is so good. So good. And the amount of dopamine you get when that shit lands and you see them numbers crunching, it's beautiful. Second Chance to bring us back if we do die. Shield Affinity is risky, but it does give you quite a lot of damage. 30% increased damage when you have shields, but if you receive any damage, all shields will get wiped out. High risk, high reward. We got Shortcut to play immediately when falling below 30% health. This is very handy. Sniper, the most important to this build. First, free aim shot deals, each turn deals 200% damage, increased damage, and it can break. Sorry, I can't talk today. So this is what's breaking enemies on the free aim shot. Solidifying 2+ shields when the character falls below 50% health once per battle. And we got Solo Fighter because he is fighting alone, so there's 50% more damage, which is cool. And we got Stun Boost to do 30% increased damage on a stun target. When you break an enemy, they're stunned for one of their turns, all of your turns until they get their first turn back. But that 30% increased damage is a game changer. We have Survivor, so this way, when he's supposed to auto die when the battle starts, he stays at 1 HP. We got Sweet Kill equipped. That's for the crit stuff. And we got Tainted. 15% increased damage for each status effect on self. I think this basically counts mainly for the inverted status, which is fine. That's an extra 50% from that, and then 15% from this. So you love it. Teamwork, I don't know if you need this. Some people were saying that it's bugged and that it still works in the background. I don't know. If you have the Lumina, put it on. If you don't have the Lumina, don't run it and experiment with it on your end. I have Warming Up, so this way 5% increased damage per turn can stack up to 5 times. And then we got Weakness Gain. That's one of the other ones we have equipped. So those are all the things that we have slotted onto Verso. In the previous video, I did have stuff on him in order to boost his crit, but you guys are right. We don't really need to run Last Stand Critical or any of the other like Empower and Crit stuff if you're using this weapon, because Contorso, if you are in S rank, you have 100% crit chance, so you don't need to run crit stuff for him. Let's actually talk about Sciel and Lune. So Lune and Sciel, it doesn't really matter what their weapons are for this setup. Kind of just have like whatever on them because they're set to die. They're set to like explode. The main thing we want on them, guys, is auto death, breaking death, burning death. Well, yeah, charging stuff works as well too, like charging crits because they have 100% crit or they have high crit, so they'll charge the gradient as well when they die. They have death bomb also just to deal some like tickle them a little bit in the beginning. Double burn because when they do die, they do apply burn stacks onto him. Just trying to go through the main things you want to have on them. Shielding death, of course, is what we're running, so this way Verso gets as many shields as possible. So that's all we need on these characters, and of course painted power, so this way they can deal max damage from the bomb. So this way I think they're dealing 400,000 damage, so you definitely want that. And again, same thing on Luna, got the same exact like setup on her. Auto death, shielding death. And again, like I said, if you don't want to run Sciel or Luna, if you want a true like solo thing with Verso, go ahead and do that. You can go ahead and have auto death on, but take off Survivor, which will get you back 20 Lumina. So this way he dies, but then you also have second chance to bring him back. So he dies, he puts the enemies in a position to be broken, and yeah, I don't think you can take advantage of low health Pictos, though. That's the only other issue with that. So low health damage you do lose out on, but you can run this setup with Verso or anybody else, really, if you just want to like set up enemies to be broken immediately. Now, that's Contorso. I want to show you guys how this also works with Chevalam. And Chevalam, it does have an interesting situation. You start the battle in S rank, but you can't be healed or gain shields. However, there is a really cool thing I found. If you make Verso go as the third teammate in your party, he still gets shields. If you have him as teammate 1 or 2, he won't get all the shields. You have to have him as teammate 3. So this way, when Sciel and Luna die before his turn, he gets all the shields. And I'll show you guys how that works. You'll see when we boot up the battle, he'll have all 9 shields. Of course, if we're going to run the Chevalam for this, we're going to have to redo his attributes. And he's over 100% crit rate, but it's fine. And let's talk about his skills. So for him in particular, the best skills you're going to want to run are Endbringer, Steeled Strike. Phantom Stars is good for breaking multiple enemies. Perfect Break is okay, and Follow Up is the main thing for free aim shots. So you'll see it deals medium single target light damage, but the damage is increased for each free aim shot this turn. So each free aim shot this turn up to 10 times. So once you shoot 10 times, then you want to use this, but it does cost only 2 AP if he's at S rank, and Chevalam, he's always going to be in S rank. So this is still a pretty solid one to use for him. I wouldn't say it's the main focus because Steeled Strike and Endbringer are also great options that deal really good damage, especially if the enemy is stunned and you're hitting a bunch of times. Verso's very flexible in that way. A lot of characters in general are very flexible. So the rest of Chevalam's effects, 20% increased damage for each consecutive turn without taking damage, can stack up to 5 times, and applies Rush on rank S. Now, in order to have the max amount of shields applied with Chevalam, because remember, it's not supposed to give you shields, but for whatever reason, when Verso goes third, it does give him shields. Let's have Sciel selected as the first party member, Lune as second, and Verso as third. That's how you adjust your party order, but of course, it also does depend on, like turn orders and stuff also depend on your agility and speed level. So we'll go ahead and we'll start up our good old Simon buddy. And at battle start, you guys will see our teammates die, and they still give Verso 9 shields, and that is again with the Chevalam equip as long as he is the third teammate. So let's just break him and going straight into a Steeled Strike, just because Chevalam, that's like its specialty, really, is the Steeled Strike. That's actually some kind of low rolls there. Typically, you can get like the first hit to deal 10 million, which insta kills him essentially with Steeled Strike in that position, but that's no big deal there. It's 13 hits, so bound to just decimate his first phase. Now I'm curious to see just how Chevalam can do damage-wise when it comes to his follow-up shot. So we'll do the usual, bring him down to the 2 AP. We'll do a follow-up here. That was more than 10. 56 million off of that, guys. Wow. Now we can kind of be reckless here, or get really good rolls. Oh my god. We get some god rolls here. Yeah, never mind. I was going to show you guys how you could actually die twice and come back. If Simon's health isn't below 40%, if Simon's health is like at this level now, if he gets a turn, he's just going to delete Verso because of like that interesting like party mechanic element. Wow, look at these rolls. We're back up to 9 AP. That was crazy. Could just use Endbringer there. Yo, what is this? That's some crazy ass damage there. Oh my god, yo. Verso can have a lot of fun there. So 56 million with his follow-up shots there. A little longer of a fight, but I just couldn't resist just seeing how crazy the marks were on the AP game. So we showed you guys Chevalam, Contorso. Let's go ahead and check out the Simoso, which in my opinion is good. Great weapon, but not really what you would use in this particular build. But I kind of wanted to show you the mileage you can still get with it as long as you allocate the stats properly to it. 81% crit rate with this. So you know what? Because we have our max Pictos stuff on, what we'll do is we'll put on... Where is it? Last stand critical. 100% crit chance when fighting alone. So we'll do that, so this way we can actually take full advantage of the crit. We have enough Lumina for it. It just only costs 3. Simoso has really cool effects, but on your first run against Simon, you're not going to have it because obviously you get it from beating him. The difference with this is you're not going to get an instant S rank off of a break, so you kind of have to build up towards that. And we'll go ahead and we'll do that. Get some extra shots. Man, wow. They just keep building us back up. They really want us to get that S rank. Yeah. And follow up. This weapon hits twice. Yo, 58 million right there off of that. And again, this weapon is mostly skill focus. You don't always want to aim towards free aims with this, but I'm just trying to show you guys how this build can be flexible and work in that way. Let's keep it going. Try to get to S rank. Ooh, we got a Gradient Charge maxed out. Ooh, look at that. All right, we're in good shape. If he gets marked here, it's even better. Oh, no mark. All right, let's go ahead and follow up. Oh, only 14 million there. Ah, not such a great roll. If he got marked, I'm curious to see how much damage that would have did. Let's see if we can get it marked here. Come on, Simon. Yeah. All right, just because we already shot him a lot, I'm just curious to see how much this will do. Boom, boom. That definitely killed. What was that? 89 million double hit. So it does require a little bit more time, some luck, but you know, that damage is kind of nuts. For what it is, I mean, off of re-aim shots, it's fucked. Yo, look at this guy, man. He's like, yo, stop. Just stop. Stop killing me over and over again. Yes, Simon, our test dummy. And that's New Game Plus. 1 time over. Yeah, and that's the build, man. You guys have been asking for the full breakdown. There it is. That's Simoso, Contorso, as well as Chevalam, his 3 best weapons in my opinion. I've seen some great stuff with BltzZ, which if you're running like a low health based builds like this one, this is great for that because he will automatically start off in S rank with being at 1 HP. So you kind of can do the same thing with this. Yeah, and 20% increased light damage with skills. A lot of his skills are light damage based. So overall, it's not a bad weapon to run at all for Verso. Top 4 weapons, really. Those are his great weapons. I've heard some really good things about Confuso and Corpuso, but I haven't really ran them too much. Damn, damage power scaling on Corpuso, though. What's Simoso at? 10,000 only? That's interesting. I'll check that out, but that's mostly like a burn-based build, based off of what the stats and stuff say there. But yeah, that's the full Verso build you guys have been asking for. You can run that truly solo if you wanted to, if you just removed Sciel and Lune, and you removed the Survivor Picto off of him, and let him die from the auto death, but second chance brings him back, so you can break enemies on the first shot. And that wraps it up for this video. We got tons of things to still talk about with this game, between its story, crazy gameplay stuff, and builds between all the characters, and we're experimenting with things and trying new things out. Obviously, Sciel has just been, at this point, it's just, she's crazy broken. So we're just gonna be messing around with other characters. Minoko's guide is already out on the channel. Lune is probably gonna get a next video because we haven't really messed with her since the game launch. And in my opinion, she has a really fun kit. Sciel, you guys already know, is my favorite character in the game. She's too fun to play as, man. Her actual like abilities and stuff, comboing them, are great, and she's phenomenal in any team composition, really, and the key to unlocking true crazy damage in this game. But Verso is pretty fun. He has a fun set of abilities, weapons, weapon effects, and it's voiced by Ben Starr. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you are new. More Clair Obscur Expedition 33 videos are on the way, and you don't want to miss them. My name is BltzZ, and thanks for watching.